Hey there guys, it's Liam here again, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a video game console with a difference, the Vectrex. Now the Vectrex was made by Smith Engineering and was released in 1983 worldwide, and in North America in 1982, so slightly before. Now the video game console with a difference aspect of this is that the Vectrex itself, unlike any other video game console of its time, that I'm aware of at least, actually came with a built-in monitor. You couldn't plug this console into another TV or anything like that. It had its own monitor, very much like a handheld console, really, like your Game Boy or your Game Gear, that sort of thing. Whereas, of course, they were portable consoles. They were portable handheld consoles, and the Vectrex was not a portable console. It was designed to be a home-based video game console, but with it you did not need to plug it into a separate monitor. Now the Vectrex itself used vector-based graphics, which is very similar-ish in appearance to things like radar screens, things like that. And another unusual thing about the Vectrex itself is that it didn't really have graphics or colours of its own. The actual games themselves came with overlays to actually put across the screen to change the colour of the screen. But I'll show you how that would work in a moment. But let's crack on and show you what the Vectrex itself looks like. So here we go. Okay guys, so this is the Vectrex console itself. As you can see, it's got its own inbuilt screen. And just to give you a size comparison, here it is next to the Nintendo Game Boy. Now I'm not trying to compare it, of course, with the Game Boy, because the Game Boy was designed to be a portable handheld console, whereas the Vectrex was a home-based video game console, so there's a massive difference there. Now, the fact that it came with its own inbuilt screen though was unique, and it has its advantages and disadvantages, as far as I can see at least. But one of the advantages that I can see from this for its time is that back in the 80s, the early 80s, not everyone had their own television in each room or anything like that like they do now. So most of the time kids had to plug their console into their mum and dad's TV, the main TV in the living room, when the mum and dad weren't watching it. Whereas with this console, of course, you didn't have to wait for people to finish watching TV before you could have a go on your video game console. You had your own screen right there, ready to use whenever you wanted to. The disadvantage of that, however, now, of course, is that you don't have the option of plugging it into a TV screen. You don't have the option of putting it on a bigger screen. You are forever trapped, I suppose you could say, with this size screen. And it's not incredibly big. But for kids back then, I suppose it would have been sufficient. I mean, it's not tiny. You don't have to squint to see it or anything like that. And again, just to give you a comparison with the Game Boy screen. So it's not a tiny screen. It certainly would have done its job for the day. Now, one unique thing though about the Vectrex itself is that because they were vector-based graphics, which were similar-ish, I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but similar-ish to sort of like radar graphics, like what you'd see on a radar screen. They were sort of similar-ish to that, and they didn't have the ability to actually have any colour on there other than the one sort of bluishy white colour that the graphics came with. So the unique thing about the Vectrex games is that they all came with an overlay, and this time the overlay was not for the controller. The overlay went literally over the screen, and it just changed the colour of the graphics. So if the game itself, I don't know, let's just say for example it was a Star Trek game, it would change the colour of the screen and make the ships green, for example, if they were Klingon ships or something like that. But it didn't really make a great deal of difference to the game. It doesn't really change anything about the game. So if you have a game without an overlay, you're not really going to miss anything. It doesn't spoil the game. At least I don't think it does. It doesn't make too great deal of difference. Now, here it is to show you at the front here. This is actually where the controller is, so I'm going to show you how that comes out. There's a little clip here, and then it pulls down. You can get that out. There we go. This, I shall stand it up now, move its wire out of the way so you can see it. Okay, so this is the controller itself. As you can see, you've got your joystick here, buttons 1, 2, 3 and 4. And I'm just going to change scene now to show you from a camera angle a little bit further in, so you can see exactly what the inputs etc. are on the inside of the Vectrex. So here we go. Okay guys, so this is a bit more of a close-up of the controller itself. Sorry for having to leave the flash on for this part of the video, but when I lean underneath the Vectrex in a moment to show you the inputs, it's not you're not going to be able to see them because of the lighting unless I leave the flash on. But a bit more of a close-up of the controller. As you can see, it's just got its control stick with your 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and underneath, there we go, that's what fits into the Vectrex itself, so you can hide the controller away. Got the name there just so you can see exactly what console you've got. Now let's lean underneath, show you the inputs. There we go. As you can see, even though the monitor itself is built in, the controllers were not. The controllers were changeable. So if your controller breaks, you can, buy some other ones. And you've got a port there for second player as well. If you can find someone that wants to play this with you, of course that is. Just move the controller wire out the way. Now, this button here, it's covered a little bit by the wire, I'm afraid, but this one here, you turn this to turn the Vectrex on and adjust the sound. And this button here is your reset button. And that's really all there is to see. Now, before I do actually turn this on, I'll just show you sort of all the way around the console itself, just so you can get more of a perspective of it. Let me just turn the flash off. Okay, right, so the flash is off. I just want to show you a bit more of how the console looks all the way around, how thick it is, that sort of thing. Now on this side here, as you can see there, that is where you would actually put the cartridges into this console. So yes, its games weren't inbuilt or anything. Well, there is one inbuilt game, but the cartridges are changeable. And in there is where they will slot. I'll show that properly again with some better lighting in a moment when I change the games over. And around the back. You can see you've got all of your caution and don't plug this into the wrong type of socket and all that rubbish. All that stuff you don't really need to see. Few scuffs there that I couldn't avoid over the years, I'm afraid. And there we go, back around. Right, so let's crack on and show you the best part itself, of course, the games. So here we go. Okay guys, so this is the games themselves I'm going to show you now. Now I've put the camera a bit closer to the screen so that you can see them. So here we go, I'm going to switch it on. There we go, hope you can hear that. That's about as loud as it will go. Now this is Mindstorm. I'm going to have a little go for you. Here it is, as you can see, just like Asteroids. I'm shit at this game. Okay. So yes, I am crap at that game. Now I'll show you the cartridges and exactly how they go into the system in a moment, but just to show you that you can change the games, I'm just going to input a different game in there now. Okay, let's get the system back on. First game was Mindstorm. This game, Web Warp. Yes, I am actually playing this myself, as crap as I am doing. Okay, I've just turned the sound off there for a moment. So as you can see there, this was the point of the overlays. I can't really remember, to be honest with you, exactly how what colour I should say these overlays were for different games, but for example, if you got a green overlay and put it over across the screen, this game would then appear like everything on there is green, apart from obviously the black. All the white lines would appear green, or they would appear blue, or whatever they may be. And that's it. So they were basic radar-ish looking games, and as you could see from the first game, the Mindstorm game was very, very similar, if not almost identical to Asteroids. One little unique fact though I will let you know of before I move on and show you exactly how the cartridges go in, etc., is that the Mindstorm game itself was legendary for actually breaking and crashing on level 13. Majority of these systems you could not get past level 13. So what happened was, the amount of complaints that came through for Mindstorm, the inbuilt game, when you wrote off to complain to the company about the game crashing on level 13, they would actually send you a cartridge called Mindstorm 2, which was basically just Mindstorm. It wasn't a sequel, but it was just a cartridge of the inbuilt game, and it was fixed so that it wouldn't crash on level 13. So those people out there that do have Mindstorm 2, well done to you, because I have not got it. It's an incredibly rare game. I hope to pick it up at some point in the future, but not now. At least I've definitely not got it now. I'm just going to reset the game so you can see it resetting. There we go. So yes, if you manage to get yourself a copy of Mindstorm 2, or if you've got one, definitely keep hold of it, because yes, it's a really rare game. And finally, let's move on to just showing you, the console, or how the games go into the console itself, I should say. So here we go. Okay guys, sorry about leaving the flash on again. But it's a bit dark if I don't. Just want you to see the cartridge input here. Now here is typically one of the games. This is the Web Warp game, which is the second game I showed you a moment ago. The first game I showed you that looked like Asteroids is built in anyway. But very similar to even like the 2600. The game just literally slides in. Give that a bit of a push. And there you go. There were a lot of games as well released for this system, so it's a really, really good system. If you do have it, it's definitely worth keeping in your collection. It's a really good system to have, proper retro game to keep hold of, or a retro system to keep hold of. So there we go, that is the Vectrex. Hope you've enjoyed that. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed having a look at the Vectrex console itself. Certainly a console to have in your collection if you like to collect retro video game consoles like I do. Sadly for the Vectrex, of course, as those who've had a Vectrex or a collector themselves would know, even though it was released only in 1983, it actually exited the market as well in 1984. It suffered the same fate, as a lot of companies and systems did back then with the video game crash. So it's a shame, but it's definitely it's a good console to have. It's rare, but it's not impossible to find. You will be able to pick one up if you really do know where to look for them, especially places like eBay, obvious places like that. And there were some accessories as well released for the Vectrex itself. The the only ones really that I can think of that come to mind are things like the light pen and that sort of thing, but I'll be showing those, you know, in my accessories video, along with a couple of the overlays, just so you can see exactly what they look like. But they are just pieces of plastic, coloured pieces of, you know, of plastic, so there's not a great deal to see. But the light pen is at least an interesting little add-on that was available for it. Now, one final thing though, just before I do go, I just want to let you know, everyone that subscribes to me and watches my videos, know that I will also in the very near future be sort of releasing some videos showing all the games as well themselves, some more unique games, and showing how the games actually look. You know, rather than just showing the cartridge, I'll actually show exactly how the game looks to play as well. This is not because I'm running out of consoles, of course, to show, because I've still got plenty more consoles. I just want to get a lot more videos up on YouTube as well, up on my channel. So there will be games coming up on that channel as well, some nice retro games to have a look at. But the consoles will still be coming regularly like they are now as well. So if you're watching my channel for the consoles, they're still going to be coming in regular flow. Just because some game videos might be appearing as well, doesn't mean that the consoles themselves are drying up. So if you like your games, you know, your retro games as well, so keep a lookout for those. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Any feedback you want to leave, of course, by all means comment. I will always try and reply. And if I've always said it in my previous videos, if I got any of my information wrong, then please let me know what exactly was wrong, and I'll learn. I don't read up on these things. The information that I come out with is just based off my own knowledge of growing up with these systems anyway, so it's not like I do any real research for it. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the Vectrex, and subscribe. Take care now, guys.